I like to start by jotting down some descriptive words of what 6th Avenue feels like to me.
6th Avenue East is 4 lanes of traffic, 2 going each way. I feel like people don't really know what they're supposed to do with pedestrians. I often feel like cars are not slowing down when they see us, and we're just playing a game of Frogger when we go out there.
6th Avenue East is a major corridor for our city. It allows the greater region to access our downtown both culturally, economically, and it also happens to divide our community.
Yesterday was Halloween, and I know a bunch of kids from Miles Wilkinson was trick-or-treating. They had to stop because cars were not paying attention, or they just didn't care. It's beyond my disbelief how things in this town are and the way they have it set up.
People just fly down the hill, and it makes it nearly impossible at certain times of the day for anybody to cross, on bike, on foot, or anything like that.
People think they're in a car and they have the right of way. Roads are for cars. They have a 2,000-pound vehicle and we have nothing. We have our bodies.
The built environment has so much impact on the way we live our lives, how we are able to get around or not, the opportunities and resources that we can access.
I mean, when we're talking about a neighborhood where 1 in 3 households don't have a car.
Or if you're looking even closer at Myers-Wilkins, their after-school program, 55% of those families don't have cars. This isn't about choosing to walk. This is about a necessity of having to walk and having to cross that street.
Folks in the Hillside live on average 20 years less than the next neighborhood over in Park Point, and about 12 years less than the city of Duluth on average.
You think about what that street is saying to the people of that neighborhood. It is essentially saying that moving people quickly through a neighborhood is of a higher priority than the impact the design of that street is having on the residents that live there. And that, to me, is the ultimate message of disconnect.
My son started school just over a year ago, and he goes to a preschool that's 7 blocks away. But we do have to cross 6th Avenue East to get there. I didn't realize how dangerous it was.
Okay, ready, set, ooh, go fast.
We started having close calls immediately, and I started to make a rule that if I had 3 close calls in a week, we'd stop walking. And every week that would happen. So now we 100% of the time drive to school in the morning. It's so sad because it's like a 3-minute drive. It's so close to us. It's such an easy walk.
Kids absolutely need a safe way to get to school. Number one, because they need to be here, but the transportation department has deemed that some roads like Superior Street, London Road, 6th Avenue East are just too busy and too unpredictable to have students cross that. They bus kids that live on the other side of all of those streets or roads, even if they're only 4 or 5 blocks from school.
6th Avenue East was identified a long time ago, probably about 2009, 2010, as a barrier to opportunities and something that exposes people to danger. And there'd been an initial burst of work and interest in improving that corridor, but over the years, the opportunities just didn't come to fruition to make permanent improvements.
My name is Mimi Stender. I am the founder of Duluth Aging Support. I loved being able to go back and look at some of the old work that I used to do when I led an organization called Fit City Duluth. 6th Avenue East was one of our primary focus areas. We were very, very focused on safe routes to school. That was the time when Nettleton still existed and Grant Elementary still existed. And Nettleton was going away. Nettleton was on the west side of 6th Avenue East, and Grant was on the east side. What were the Nettleton kids going to do? How were they going to walk safely to school? We did walkability audits. We tried a lot of things, but we never came up with a solution. So 6th Avenue East has really been a thorn in community development and the thriving of our residents' side for a long time.
One of the things that makes Myers-Wilkins unique is that we're a community school. We operate under 4 pillars. One of those is community engagement. And so family nights, engaging with our families is extremely important. And many families and teachers have reported that since the move from Nettleton across 6th to Myers-Wilkins, attendance for those things has gone down significantly. As a community school, our school should be the hub of our community, and 6th Avenue East makes it almost impossible for that to happen.
This is a street that has ripped this neighborhood apart. It has impacts of redlining and disinvestment for generations.
Redlining is a policy that was implemented by the federal government in the 1930s. The way that the federal government evaluated these neighborhoods was very explicitly relying on race and who lived in those neighborhoods. So redlining has this grading system of A, B, C, D, just like school grades. A is the best, D is the worst. That neighborhood where the Hillside is was actually given a C grade. But the description also says that there will not be any future investment in that neighborhood. People in neighborhoods that, say, weren't redlined had a lot more access to opportunities, to mortgage loans, to rehab loans to keep up their housing. And so it kind of perpetuates that idea, well, if I could do it, how come they couldn't do it? Without noticing that there's a very different history going on there between those different neighborhoods.
It's there. It's right in front of your face. You know, I don't like you. I don't want to help you. I can't give you this. I don't want to give you this because you're not applying yourself. Well, wait a minute. I have been. You keep stagnating me because I got to keep going to this nonprofit to do this nonprofit to do that nonprofit to do that. Or I got to hold up because this nonprofit don't have the money to give me this nonprofit don't have the money to give me that, But then when you find the right person, you're exhausted. You're back at the drawing board again, and your kids are saying, what happened?
If we're going to address some of these inequities that were created by redlining, it's a monetary investment that the government did not give to these neighborhoods over nearly 100 years. And so what really needs to happen is some kind of monetary investment back into those neighborhoods to make up for that.
We are investing hundreds of millions of dollars into our system, and we are regularly making these investments. We have the opportunity to make our transportation system fit what our needs are. Maybe the assumptions we did in the past don't play out how we'd like to see them play out in the future, and how can we adjust this system to reflect what the residents of this community are looking for.
When we think about the work we do in the Community Development Office, key to that success is our Healthy Hillside team.
The Healthy Hillside team is a group of citizens with diverse backgrounds. Effectively, we meet regularly to discuss the needs of our community, specifically the Hillside.
The team did a door-to-door canvassing campaign where they were meeting with hundreds of Hillside residents on their doorstep, having those conversations about their vision and their hope for the future. And during these conversations, we continued to hear about 6th Avenue East as a barrier to active living, as a barrier to accessing services and groceries, as a barrier to connecting with other people in their community.
In our survey, we had a question asking respondents, does 6th Avenue East feel safe to walk, bike, or bus from? Overwhelmingly, the answer we heard from them was no, with approximately 63% of respondents saying that they had felt unsafe while using 6th Avenue East.
20 years ago, my uncle was crossing the street and he got hit by a car. That was scary and devastating. I'd like to see something done where it makes it more safer for us.
It's been very difficult for me being in a wheelchair. It would be difficult at times to gauge the speed of traffic and how much time I would have to get across the street.
living in this community and working in this community, I've done a lot of surveys and I've conducted a lot of surveys. And as soon as people see you with that clipboard, they just like go the other way. And that's what I would hear is, what good is this gonna do? I fill out surveys all the time and nothing ever changes. Like, what's the point?
Now you say bring suggestions, people do. But you're not gonna, are you gonna really listen to what I say, or you're just gonna hear what I say? There's two ways of doing this, listening and hearing, okay? And I'm talking about from the heart, not from your mouth or your mind, from your heart.
Our vision boards are kind of like our hopes and dreams. It's just a way of manifesting what you would like to see, a goal that you would like to set.
My vision is seeing an environment with wild plants growing instead of just mowing down. And then I have a kid being active on their scooter. Physical activity is very important in living a healthy lifestyle.
Like here's a crosswalk, whatever they look like, something like that.
Yeah.
There's like no spot to stand over here. So I guess I would envision like that there would be a big area to stand, that you could be away from traffic. In my dream world, it would be 2 lanes of traffic.
Yeah, that would be great. Art does tell a story and it changes minds, and to make art about it, or go out and specifically have conversations about 6th Avenue is new for me. So I think it's important to bring in new energy and new ideas. And I think eventually we will make enough noise that they can't ignore us, that something will have to be done.
If people like myself got to keep advocating for the truth, I'm gonna keep on doing that, advocating for the truth, because I know other people don't think like I think.
Many of the vision boards showed more green space and pollinator beds to provide protection between heavy traffic and sidewalks. Crosswalks at every corner, a beautiful boulevard with trees and green space, benches to provide a resting stop, weatherproof bus seating, a pedestrian overpass to avoid traffic completely, bike lanes, on-street parking to provide another layer of protection, community art to help slow down traffic, and many have expressed the need for more local businesses to have access to their daily needs within a 15-minute walking radius to avoid having to jump on a 30-minute bus ride.
What we see on 6th Avenue East is something that has played out across the country as freeways and highways came in. They destroyed low-income, predominantly Black, brown neighborhoods. People were displaced for massive land use for these dedicated lanes for cars. Neighborhoods that have been underinvested in are experiencing more challenges in just navigating daily life, getting food, getting access to healthcare, mental health services, and connecting with people, things that extend the quality of your life as well as the length.
This is not just about the street itself. This is about a place that is in the heart of the Hillside neighborhood that has an opportunity to be a great place for the people who live there and give them good health impacts instead of create more health disparity.
Green space is critical to having balance in your life. The more activity that we can get people involved in, the healthier they're going to be.
I think that people are more connected to the spaces around them too when there's green spaces involved with it. There's more than one way to look at it. The road could just be repaved and redone the same way, but we can think more creatively than that.
People in Duluth are very active in addressing some of the historic inequities that have gotten us to where we're at today. But we're not alone in that. We see that happening across the country, and it's people that are advocating at local city governments that are getting together with their neighborhoods and talking about what their vision for a better community is.
Getting people more involved and getting them to see others' perspectives or needs is essential to making any, long-term changes.
So the 6th Avenue East Summit was an opportunity for neighbors to give voice about their opinions, the impact that they were experiencing on the street, alongside the people who have researched and studied the street in a way to bring the two together to think about what sort of next steps and solutions are needed to make this better now. So this momentum has led to the city prioritizing the street and committing to a resurfacing in 2024, while simultaneously initiating a long-range planning process for the reconstruction of the street in the next 7 to 10 years.
I feel like there's energy behind the ideas of change, and so I get excited because it can be draining to work on something that you feel like it's never going to happen. But when you have such a powerful group of people, it feels like we're on the right path.